From mass pardons to billionaire buds, controversial executive orders to failed presidential kisses. For the second time, Donald Trump has been sworn in as President of the United States, completing an extraordinary political comeback and immediately making some seismic changes.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Donald Trump kept his hand clear of the Bible as he took the oath of office and officially became the 47th President of the United States.
I'm unbelievably happy. That's why I'm here today.
I feel energetic. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for this.
I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success.
His second inaugural speech kicked off an unusual day with misbehaving presidents.
Are you going to behave or not?
Fashion-forward protective headgear.
Can we see another photo? People weren't sure if she was there for the inauguration or to kill Indiana Jones.
And first buddy Elon Musk giving a salute that many did not see coming. A sea of red hats greeted the new prez at the Capital One Arena.
We won, but now the work begins.
But not everyone was captivated by Donald's oration.
Did you know that Biden, while I was making my speech, pardoned his whole family?
It's true. In the final hours of his administration, Donald Trump's seat warmer, Joe Biden, issued a range of preemptive pardons for retired General Mark Milley, former Chief Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci, and members of the January 6 committee, as well as blanket pardons for Biden's family. A statement on the White House website this morning read,
"My family has been subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats, motivated solely by a desire to hurt me. Unfortunately, I have no reason to believe these attacks will end."
Then after Trump took office, the page looked a little different.
404, page not found.
Go home.
I was speaking. I didn't know he did it.
Trump wasted no time on his first day, not even leaving the arena before signing his first executive orders.
Decision of 78 Biden-era executive orders to freeze on all federal hiring, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Treaty.
After disposing of the pens in a responsible manner, Trump then headed to the White House to take care of the rest.
Did you sign the TikTok order?
Yeah.
Yes, TikTok will be accessible to all Americans, including the January 6 rioters, 1,500 of whom received a mass pardon.
Well, I will say this. They've been in jail for a long time already.
There was also the declaration of a national emergency at the Mexican border, a recommendation drug cartels be labelled terrorist organisations, the end of birthright citizenship, renaming the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Even Trump struggled to keep track of them.
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It certainly was. America and the world now waiting to see just how many other big ones will be coming over the next 4 years.
Strap yourselves in. Adolfo Franco is a spokesperson for the Trump campaign. He joins us now. Huge day for your team. What was the mood like there in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, it's one of great celebration here in Washington, D.C., and frankly throughout the country. It's just been a magnificent day with a very, very high level of energy that I haven't seen in many, many years. Right now, President Trump is enjoying 60% approval rating from the American people. To give context to that, when Ronald Reagan won re-election in 1984, he had a 64% approval rating and carried 49 of our 50 states. So if the election were to be held today, Donald Trump would have won even a larger electoral landslide and, of course, an even more expanded popular vote. So that's an indication of the mood in the country. Very upbeat, very optimistic.
Are you expecting a different President Trump from the 2017 Trump?
I actually am. And this is chapter 2. And the reason I say this, it's still the same Donald Trump, but why I expect it to be different is the following. He has 4 years under his belt. Donald Trump is still an outsider, but now he's an outsider who's had experience in Washington and knows, as he has said himself, where he made mistakes and where he, in 2017, relied on many, many political figures in Washington, D.C., who he really did not know. So he knows the players. Almost all of the nominees that he has now announced for the cabinet positions are people he either knows well, or has gotten to know over the last few years, or have been loyalists from the beginning. So there's going to be a contrast. So I think it will be a different Trump in that regard. We will have a 2.0, as we say in the United States.
Something we did see today were executive orders, lots of them. The range is staggering. There's no way I could rehearse them all, but, America out of the Paris Climate Treaty, America out of the World Health Organization, January 6 rioters pardoned, which is a slightly different thing, but the pardoning as well. Just how different is America about to look in a hurry?
Well, I think it's going to look very different in a hurry for a couple of reasons. First of all, the degree of energy and determination as evidenced by these executive orders. All presidents, by the way, issue executive orders the first day they come into office or they're sworn in. So that's not unusual. But I think the mood, the changes will be very quick, particularly with things that the president can do now that he has, through 2 of the executive orders, declared national emergencies. National emergencies are rarely invoked by a president, and they give him broad and unusual power. One has to do with the border, which, of course, was a pillar of his campaign. That means President Trump, for the first time, can and will deploy federal troops to the border. We've not done that in the past. Also, he declared a national emergency with respect to energy production. He has said during his speech, even drill, we're going to drill, as he says, drill, baby, drill. Just on those 2 matters, which were central to his campaign, we're going to see massive change in the country.
Adolfo, President Trump has talked about making Canada and Greenland part of the United States. Now, I need to know, is there a timeline to take Australia as well? Just kind of for planning purposes, I've got a lot coming up this year. Do I need to learn the lyrics to Star Spangled Banner? Tell me now, please.
It's more like YMCA.
Oh, yeah, I can do that.
We would love to have Australia join the United States, but it's too far away.
Well, we're not as polite as Canadians, but I tell you what, we've got better beaches than Greenland.
Oh, yeah.
Adolfo, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
We're safe.
The Honorable Donald John Trump.
Today, we will witness the peaceful transfer of power at the heart of our democracy.
The wind is blowing like crazy, and with the hat that she's wearing, she almost blew away. I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States. The golden age of America begins right now.
It was the most inspiring speech she's ever given that I've personally ever heard.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
It was one of the least impressive, least visionary speeches.
There are only 2 genders, male and female. We will pursue our manifest destiny to plant the stars and stripes on the planet Mars.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
He pledged to be a president of peace and to not start any new wars.
China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China.
But did also pledge to forcibly take another country's territory.
We're taking it back. Today, I will sign a series of historic executive orders.
This is what victory feels like.
We will begin the complete restoration of America.
Thank you.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
He hasn't held back today in words or action.
Trump is announcing pardons for January 6th defendants.
We're huge supporters of Trump.
The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
He's done a lot for us.
Protecting women from radical gender ideologies.
Ooh. What is this?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir.
Ooh, that's a big one. It's all about common sense. Bye-bye. I gave you the A+ treatment. Thank you. Thank you all.
Welcome to the project, and it's a big one. We're live from the lands of the Cooler Nation tonight with Kate Langbrook.
Wow.
Who better to be here today?
That was a big one.
It was,
wasn't it? There were so many things to watch, so many fascinating aspects.
Yeah, let's see how many of them we can unpack in the next few minutes, shall we? We're joined right now by journalist and author Nick Bryant, who's been covering Trump from the very start. Nick, big day. You heard it from Kate. Trump's address promised a golden age. What did you make of it?
Well, it wasn't quite as dark and dystopian as American Carnage. I was 50 yards away from Trump when he delivered his first inaugural, but it was pretty gloomy. But what struck me, Waleed, was to see Trump walk into the US Capitol, where on January the 6th, 4 years ago, his supporters ransacked and tried to overturn the election victory of Joe Biden. And to see him applauded by lawmakers who on January the 6th had to run for their lives. Now, Donald Trump could easily have ended up in prison because of his role on January the 6th. Instead, tonight, he is sleeping in the White House. And the other thing that struck me, Waleed, was this is what America voted for. This is what almost 50% of the US electorate, they clicked on the terms and conditions of Trump 2.0.
Crazy democracy, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, I think, Nick, that partly that they voted for Trump because he was awake and Biden had been sleeping inside and outside of the White House. Don't you?
Oh, look, within about 4 minutes of that presidential debate that he had with Donald Trump and Joe Biden, it became very clear that Joe Biden was not going to be able to survive 4 more years in the White House. He looked like he was almost embalmed when he walked on that debate stage, didn't he? So, yeah, no surprise that he had to stand aside.
You know what I found quite surprising, kind of shocking, was that the gathering of the tech titans, they had prime seats. I find that disturbing. What do you think is the significance of that?
Yeah, inaugurations are not just about people watching, they're about power watching. Where do people sit? How close are they to the president? And what was remarkable about that was these tech giants from Silicon Valley, people like Mark Zuckerberg, people like Jeff Bezos, the Amazon founder, they were actually sat in the inner sanctum. They were right next to the Trump family. They were actually in front of some of the most senior cabinet members that are coming in to the Trump administration. Now, in his farewell address, Joe Biden actually warned about a tech industrial complex. And he warned about an oligarchy with all this power and influence and wealth. And proof of it was right there at the inauguration. As you saw in that film there, you know, you saw Elon Musk afterwards cavorting around that Trump rally like it was a Silicon Valley tech launch. And then we saw that salute, which to many people looked like a fascist salute. And it's the worrying coming together of Trump's disruptive politics and their disruptive algorithms, especially in the age of artificial intelligence, that for many people is so worrying.
Hey, Nick, Donald Trump signed an unprecedented number of executive orders. What stuck out to you the most?
Well, there's a lot to choose from. Withdrew immediately America from the Paris Climate Change Accord, withdrew from the WHO, the World Health Organization. The one that struck me was the pardons, these 1,600 pardons to what he calls the J6 hostages, these insurrectionists who ransacked the Capitol trying to overturn the result of that election. And he's released from prison one of the leaders of the Proud Boys, one of America's most dangerous militia movements. You know, the Republican Party has always seen itself as a party of law and order. It didn't look like that today when Trump issued those pardons.
Strange then that Dr. Fauci got a preemptive pardon from President Biden. What crime did he commit?
Well, he hasn't committed any crimes, but the idea of a preemptive pardon is to protect him from prosecution if Donald Trump comes after his political enemies, as he warned repeatedly during the campaign that he would do. And he didn't only give a preemptive pardon to Anthony Fauci, who was the health chief during COVID. He did it to Liz Cheney, who was a Republican, who was very critical of Trump for his role on January the 6th, and members of the Biden family as well. I've never seen a move by a president to protect his family from the fear that the next president will actually come after them.
Nick, thank you very much for your time.
Most impressive order of business, though, has got to be the Diet Coke button.
Of course, you would say
being
this.
put into the Oval Office.
And
so
what is that?
It's literally a button that he presses, which then calls in people to bring him an icy cold
Why can't
DC.
he just have a fridge with DC in it like you have in
There's
your
no
office?
sense of occasion. There's no sense of, I wish I had a button.
If Sarah could write an executive order, that would be the one.
That would be it. Hey, there's a bit to unpack there, but we should probably start out with the salute that's kind of gone right around the world.
Elon Musk was...
Oh, there it is there.
He was the most excited person in that room.
Did you, he's going, he's cheering.
Yeah, he was so amped.
Yeah.
I thought it was Hunter Biden.
What did you think? I mean, like, it's pretty split, actually. You've got, the Anti-Defamation League in the States, which is basically a watchdog for anti-Semitism, saying, look, this was an awkward gesture. In fact, they say all sides should give one another a bit of grace and take a breath. But what do you make of it? Is it a bit of a Rorschach test here? You see what you want to see?
The problem with it is it comes from Elon Musk, who has been openly celebrating the AfD in Germany, which is a proper far-right party.
But he's also visited
British-
Israel and kibbutzes that have been attacked.
Yeah,
by
but if you
Hamas.
look at the way far-right politics in in Europe especially works, support for Israel doesn't preclude that, right? Because a lot of the far-right politics has been directed at refugees, particularly from the Middle East, right? So the politics is really weird. I will admit, I went in there looking, because there's so many beat-ups that surround Trump. Right?
Yes.
And I went into it thinking, I'm ready for this to be a beat-up, and I watched it, and it braced me. Because I just could not... I think he knew exactly what he was doing, and that doesn't mean he meant it as a fascist salute, but I think he meant for us to see it potentially.
Well, he
that
hasn't
way and
commented.
become
He hasn't
a thing.
commented, but he has shared a post on his platform X saying, "The everyone is Hitler attack is so tired. Frankly, they just need better dirty tricks."
But it's not worth the risk. Never put your arms above you. You know, it's just not worth it.
You know what everyone needs for the next 4 years? Melania's hat.
Oh, okay.
I've seen nothing. I've seen nothing.